students. Look at us, Cal State Long Beach, Duncan Anderson Design Lecture Series. Didn't really know what Duncan Anderson was, who that was. Did some research. Sounds important, right? Sounds like tonight should be a little special. I haven't done a lecture in quite a while, so I wanted tonight to kind of be a kickstart after COVID. I haven't actually done any talking since then. So it's great to kind of be back on stage. But before I begin, I kind of walked around the room, got to meet some of you, and I found out that there's 3 different kind of programs, design programs that you guys are all in, which is really cool. I love that diversity. Just now that the larger group is here, can I see with like a show of hands how many industrial designers are in here? All right, the majority of the room. Okay, all right. Cool, all right, I know how to speak to you guys. All right, what about there was interior design? Interior design, okay, you guys only like that side of the room, all right. And then I'm assuming the other ones are just like regular design? And how is that, we got a couple there? I know there was one over here, yeah, okay. Cool, well, I think I might have a little something for all of you. Interior design, not really sure yet, but we'll figure that out. But if anything, I just want to applaud you guys for choosing the hard way of making money, right? Choosing design, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is fun, and it is definitely rewarding. So I think just get used to those student loans. They're going to be with you for a while. Yeah. Don't worry. Mine was with me for about 15 years. You guys will manage. You guys will figure it out. And I can say that we're going to be friends today. Maybe not just yet, but by the end of tonight, I think we're going to be friends. And I'm excited about that. Before I go into this deck, though, I kind of want to talk about my college experience a little bit, because some of you guys might be able to relate to it. I did not go here to Cal State Long Beach. I went to a different school. It's called Otis College of Art and Design. And I remember not being a great student. And it's not that I was a bad student or I got in trouble a lot. I just really wasn't great. Right? I was kind of like average. And I want to give you an example. Like, you know that one student who, no matter what the assignment is, right, they just make it seem like it's effortless, right? If it's a drawing assignment, they're just knocking out drawings. Like, you know, there's some hybrid between like Da Vinci and Sid Mead. Or if it's like a 15-page report, right? And you're struggling to like just knock out like 12 pages. And they turn in like 20 because, you know, they're really into the topic. You know, and I know you guys know that because there's always one in every class. And I'm sure you can probably point to someone in this class who is exactly like that. But that person was not me. I was everyone else. And out of everyone else, I was kind of in the lower percentile, right? The one that studied his ass off but barely hit that 2.8, just enough to maintain some sort of scholarship or grant, right? You guys, I think, get some Duncan Anderson grants here, something like that. So I always try to make sure I was able to reach that or barely get by. But it was tough. I remember it being really hard. So I probably would never do it again. But again, it's more of just amazing to see that there's so many designers who want to go into design, go into industrial design, go into being a creative. So it's exciting for me to be here. I hope you guys feel just excited as I am, or at least we're going to make tonight a little special. One thing that made my work so hard when I was in school was that I was a procrastinator. I waited to the end. I realized in high school I was a procrastinator, but I really perfected it when I entered college, right? I'd rather just cram everything in at the end, do those late hours, try and get that project done. And it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a good thing because I had trained my brain to only work under crunch time. And that's not good for your mental health at all, for sure. But just, you know, stress, all that stuff, never works out. Somehow I did manage, though, right? I kind of became accustomed to working when it's go time. If I was diffusing a bomb, you know, you choose the red wire or the yellow wire. I'd go for the white wire because that's me. I choose violence in that situation. But I would survive. I did survive college, made it through that, but I didn't want to carry it over into my career because that was the real world, right? My paycheck was coming in now. I was in college. I can make the mistakes in college. I didn't want to do those in my actual career. So I really had two choices. Choice one is untrain my brain to stop being a procrastinator, right? Right? You teach myself to do little bits at a time so I'm not stressing out at the very end, make it overwhelming for myself. Or option two is I just let it happen, right? Embrace it. That's what I do. Me being the better man that I am, I chose I chose option number one. Yeah. I haven't started that one yet, but I plan to eventually just to work on myself a little bit more. And if you're kind of wondering what that has to do with my presentation, just bear with me. I'm going to get there. It has everything to do with why I'm here. You see, a couple months ago, that gentleman back there, his name's Jorge, calling you out, buddy. Cal State Long Beach alumni. He had seen my presentation from several years ago, and he sent me a message and said, hey, I think that you might have some fun doing this. I think that you have something to offer to the students. And at the time, a couple months ago, I was like, sure, sounds like fun. Let's do this. I'm all in. I'll reach this guy Max, and I'll pitch him an idea, and we'll see where it goes from there. But you see, that was a couple months ago. And we've already established that I'm a procrastinator. So between a couple months ago and back then me and future me, well, there was time, of course, right? And time had life, and things happened, events, family, for my case, pets, mowing the yard, doing my work, again, changed jobs in between there. And, well, a couple days ago, I thought I was living my best life, right? I was relaxing. I was sipping on some brown sugar milk tea boba. Thank you. It's one of my favorites. You can buy me one afterwards. And my phone pops up with a notification. I have a presentation in a couple of days, Cal State Long Beach. And at first I freaked out. But then, again, my brain is wired for this moment, right? Crunch time, go time. Oh, all right, where am I going to go at? Cal State Long Beach, notification told me that. Who am I talking to? Someone in design. Didn't know there was 3 groups here. That's okay. But then I got scared. Not because I didn't know who I was talking to, but because I realized who I was going to be talking to. You see, I'm Generation X, and I'm talking to a room who's going to be primarily Gen Z, and that terrifies me. Yeah. I'm afraid because I'm afraid to use words. Because even though we use the same words, we absolutely do not speak the same language. And that was hard for me. We don't even use emojis the same way. We don't. And I kind of want to throw that up here right now because I want to tell you about emojis and what you read. And you guys are already chuckling because your brain went somewhere else. You see, this to me, this is my wife telling me to get the groceries out of the car because the groceries are really heavy. And then when I'm done with that, I still have a chore to do. She doesn't want me making any faces about it because she wants me to wash all the produce and get those chemicals off. However, through that brain, I'm not even going to say it, but this is last week's Tinder date. And it was a good one. Yeah. I'm slightly embarrassed I threw that up there, but it really does set the stage for what tonight's about. Guys, just so you know, they record this, and I just threw those emojis up there. This is going to be archived. All right? And I got eggplant squirting out up on my screen. Oh my gosh. I'm embarrassed I did that. I also lost my train of thought. So there we go. Right? I know who I'm talking to, Gen Zs with mushy brains that take emojis in the wrong way. And still don't have content. Not sure what I'm going to do there yet. Not going to focus on that one yet. It's too hard. Let's pick something easy. What am I going to wear? All right? I can just wear a t-shirt and jeans, just, hey, like one of you guys, just casual, whatever. But I wanted to make it special tonight. Can't do the full suit, too corporate-y, and nobody likes that. But statistically, suit jacket makes people think that you know what you're talking about. Since I really had no content, I needed to show that, right? The illusion of knowledge. The illusion of knowledge. So here we are. Fit check, how is this? Did I do good? If you're thinking, thank you, yeah, a 10, awesome. If you're thinking Sigma male with max level aura and the Riz to match, you are correct. That's exactly what I was going for. Thank you. I don't know who clapped, but thank you. I appreciate that. Now, content. Content. Called up some friends. Said, hey guys, help me out. Pulling in a favor. I owe you one. None of them came through. Called up a different set. Man, I really owe you one. Can you do something for, I'll do something for you. You name it, just help me out here. Those two did, right? We brainstormed a little. We thought up of an idea. But I didn't have enough yet. And I know we had a lot of time. So I decided, well, there is a Q&A at the end, right? Maybe I just kill time that way. Or I can just front load the beginning of my presentation with a bunch of chatter that really doesn't mean anything, but really it's just us bonding for a second and getting to know one another, which is exactly why we're here. And this is how I got here. Exactly. So now we're all on the same page as to why that story was relevant. It's because I had no content. And that's important for you guys, right? As students, sometimes you have to just go with it, right? And just have some fun, even if you don't know exactly what you're about to be doing. So let's get into the actual presentation. And please don't edit that whole front part out. It's part of everything, all right? Thanks, Max. Hello, everyone. My name is Art Baez, your friendly neighborhood toy designer. That's right. That sounds like a heroic entrance. So I'm going to tell you about my origin story, all right? Shortly after college, I entered the toy industry, and I was in an accident. It wasn't a major one. I was fine. Recovery time was short, but I was bit by a radioactive Godot. All right? Godots are rare. If you're wondering what a Godot is, that's a Godot. All right? That's how he spelled his name, so that's what I went with. And ever since then, I've been the greatest toy designer of all time. Yep. It's a bold statement, but it's true. But of course, every good hero story needs a villain. I'm going to tell you a toy designer's villain right now. You might be a little shocked. It's a cardboard box. An empty cardboard box. You put a toy in front of a kid, you put an empty box in front of a kid, and chances are, some of them will choose the toy, some of them are going to go into the box. Right? Can't hate the box. It's exactly what I want my toys to be. Engage a child, make their imagination come to life, maybe have fun with some friends, socialize a little bit. This was last week, by the way. And this was not for my presentation. I was just walking down the hall at work. I happened to see this large box up ahead of me. I was thinking to myself, that's a pretty big box. I bet I can fit in it. So zero hesitation, I jumped right in and went in that box. It wasn't even my box. It wasn't even at my desk. I just jumped in someone's box. Didn't care. Long enough for someone to take a photo. That's because my joints don't work as well. I was stuck in there. I needed help to get out, but they did take a photo of it. But it reminded me of something. It reminded me of that moment when you reconnect with your childhood, right? That inner child that you have. I guarantee you, during your finals week, you guys try this out. Get 3 large boxes that you guys can fit in. Go to a grassy field out here when everyone's just stressed out. Put a sign up that says cardboard box races. I guarantee you're going to have a bunch of people during a stressful time forget about what's going on and reconnect with their inner child and jump in those boxes and say, push me, come on, right down this field, all the way across. And that is the moment, that feeling That's what I do to bring all my toys to life. That moment of connection. That is why I'm in the toy industry, because I don't like the seriousness of it. I love the silliness of it. I love the play. And I'm here because I look through a lot of portfolios. And lately, I have not been seeing Cal State Long Beach portfolios. When I first started out in the toy industry 20 years ago, 3 schools dominated the entire industry. First one was Art Center. Second one was FIT. Guess who the third one was? It was you guys. Cal State Long Beach Industrial Design. Those are the 3 schools where the majority of toy designers came from. I was brand new. Like I said, I came from Otis. I was coming from a different program. But I learned about it. I was aware of all these students, all these new different schools, because, well, they all talk shit to me, right? The Art Center ones are like, you don't draw as good as me. I'm from Art Center. And then the FIT one, well, they didn't give a shit because they're all from New York. So I'm like, I'm from New York. I don't give a shit about you. And then the Long Beach guys, they're like, dude, you overspent on your degree. I'm also terrible at accents, but I tried there. But you guys are right now in the hub. If you don't know this, you are in the hub of the toy industry. All the major players have a creative center here in LA or the OC, all the way up to Calabasas, down through the West Side, South Bay, down to San Diego, up into Riverside and San Bernardino. You guys are all here because this is where the talent is. And these are just some of the companies that are here. I currently work at that one. Now let's talk numbers, right? What's so important about the toy industry? Last year in 2023, they had $40 billion in US sales alone. That's a big business, it's serious business. Globally, we were at $108 billion. And it's expected over the next 10 years, that's 2034, to nearly double in size. That's your guys' next 10 years of your career. That's the estimated projected growth. And since we are in college, I cited my sources. You can fact check me, all right? Coming from Circana and the Toy Association. Let me tell you what I love about it. Being a designer, I love to work on a variety of things. I'm not the type who wants to go and design door handles for Ford for 3 years. It's not me. All right, I would get bored by something like that. It's great for some people, not for me. What I love about the toy industry is that it is fast-paced. And we're actually in sync with three other industries. That is the entertainment and video game industry and fashion. Those are the 3 industries that are almost in the same seasonal plan. And again, these 3 industries are, Los Angeles is a major hub. Again, this is where the talent is. So they come here. And I say fast-paced design and development because it's usually, we have new product hitting every 6 months on shelf, which means you guys here are by semester, right? You guys have certain projects that are due, right? Okay, so you're kind of on the same schedule. Now just imagine, though, you're juggling 3 semesters at a time, right? You have a whole line that you got to build out. You're probably brainstorming right now, this would be me right now, brainstorming fall 26. I'm deep in development from spring 26, and I'm just wrapping up what I finished was what's about to ship off on the boats for fall 25. Working on those 3 simultaneously. In some cases, it might be 4 or 5 if they split seasons. But my seasons are usually spring and fall. And the toy industry relies heavily on trends. trends. If you love trends and you love trend spotting, I enjoy doing that quite often, especially when we can take something that's pop culture right now and mash it with something that is more classic or traditional. It gives a new way of innovating a tried and true method. And of course, materials, right? Some toys are plastic, some toys are plush, but we can use wood, we can use certain types of metals, we can find different ways of decorating, molding in glitter, let's say for example, into the plastic, swirl molding it, or just direct inkjet printing on it, which is the new method now and transformed the action figure industry. This is my world right here. This is where I play in design. These categories: action figures, play sets, vehicles, role play, and collectible plush. This has been my world for the past probably 10, 15 years. And it's where I love being. Primarily here. That's what I love. These three. A lot of times I'm designing for 7 and 10-year-olds, right? And they want action play, right? Launching this thing, shooting that, doing flips, right? And they want world play. If they're living in the world of Batman, right? They want all of Gotham City. They want Arkham to want to play out what they're seeing on TV. But I also have adult collectors. We call them kidults, right? Your guys' age and higher, right? Up to like 60, 70 years old. They want evergreen. They want nostalgia. They want their retro. They want the cool high detail. So I'm trying to figure out how I blend those together. When I deal with role play, again, I got split categories here, split ages. Am I designing for a 3 to 5-year-old who was in that cardboard box, right? Doing gameplay, you hand them a fake drill and a screwdriver and they're going to run around the house pretending to fix things. Look what I did, right? Or is it an older collector, right? Maybe they're getting into cosplay or anime, going to Comic-Con. They want stuff that's more like replica, more collector, more exact. And of course, collectible plush, I mean, that's all ages. Everybody loves a good plush. I suggest you guys always have one on your couch or bed. Squishmallows would be a brand that a lot of people have now. But I love designing plush. I'll show you some of those later on. These are a lot of studios here. And I actually got about 4 more I have to add. But I've worked with every one of these studios on a daily basis. Not at the same time, but I have at one point worked with every one of these studios. And those I call licensors. They're the ones that hold the IP. They're the ones that own the brands that I work on. How many of you are at least 22 years or younger here? Yeah? All right. Wow. I have been designing your childhood.
Thank you.
And if you enjoyed watching any of these shows, I have designed toys for all of these. I'm actually about 58 different brands now. This is an old slide I found from a previous presentation, but I love it. I love working with different brands. Like I said, I need that change of pace for myself. I don't know if I have ADD, never got diagnosed, but I love the change. And let me see, which one I have the most fun with? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, loved Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents. That was amazing. I just heard someone whisper one. What?
I was looking at Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad? Oh, I'm gonna get to that, and you're gonna be a little surprised. Yeah. But a lot of licensed brands I worked on. Like I said, now I work at Jazzwares. You probably don't know it by name, but I did mention one of their brands earlier, and that was Squishmallow. If you own a Squishmallow, then you know Jazzwares. Squishmallow is actually a $1 billion brand on its own. But I don't work on that. I don't work on $1 billion brands. I work on new startup brands. It's what I'm good at. Now I'm designing your early adulthood, because now I'm designing for Crunchyroll, anime. And of the anime, I am now designing for 18 different animes products. It's a huge job. And I still have more that I cannot say. Has nothing to do with anime. 2 other brands that I'm leading up right now. But I'm under NDA. That's one thing you're going to find out in the toy industry. You're privy to some information that the rest of the society is not allowed to know yet. And trust me, the lawyers love to find out if you did something you shouldn't have. I had my wrist slapped a couple of times for posting something I shouldn't have on my Instagram. But I found a way around it. So I'm going to tell you those 2 brands right now. The first one is, and the second one is, all right. So I got that out of the way. I'm hoping next year I'll be able to say what those are, but very excited about them. Again, it's going to tie to where you guys are currently at in life. But again, receipts, right? I've said a lot of stuff. Haven't really shown you much, right? Because it doesn't really matter what I've done, right? That's not, who cares? Who cares? I'm already in the industry. I'm not the one trying to find a job after this. You guys are. We're going to get to that part. How do I get you into the toy industry? But I've worked in a lot of categories. More than just mass market and retail. My favorite category to ever work in is QSR toys. Quick service restaurants. That pretty much means fast food restaurants. Kids meal toys, right? You ever buy a kids meal toy, went to McDonald's, Burger King, and like that, got a free kids meal toy? Yeah. If you ever did as a kid, chances are it's probably mine. And my favorite one, mentioned, is Rocket Power. I got one right here. I love that this was in a kids meal toy. They now charge you like $8 for a meal that has this amount of product in it. But this is my favorite. I did this. I designed this, ready, as an intern. I hadn't graduated college yet. But I got the opportunity to work at a company. And it catapulted me into the toy industry. What I love about this is not only did you get one of the figures from Rocket Power, you also got one of their cool boards. There were magnets on the board. And then you got what we called a trick stick. Push the plunger and it spins around. So when you got your toy, you click them together. Magically, the board connects. And now, if you remember kind of like Tech Deck was back in the day, you can run around and do stunts and stuff. Hey guys, stay on board. Do stunts and spin them around, little flips as they're kind of going there. And that was one of my most favorite ones. I actually got to have that in the gallery when I had my senior show because that already hit market. That was a 6-week program that happened through Burger King with the different characters of Rocket Power. And at the time, I don't even want to say the year because I'm going to feel really old when I say that, but at the time, it was Burger King's best kids meal program. It would sell out every week. Kids would be going crazy with them, but also adult collectors who collect kids meal toys would be going there to buy them. So I love the quick service restaurants. I love doing that. They're very fast paced. They a lot of variety of getting to know brands. I'm also at theme parks. Did a lot of stuff for theme parks, specifically Universal Studios. Worked very closely with them. These I designed 15 years ago. I promise you, you go into Universal Studios right now, you enter the Simpsons world, you go down to Transformers, you go to the Minion world, you go anywhere there, you're going to find a shelving like that. All of those 32-ounce super bottles I designed 15 years ago, they're still on display now and for sale. That's crazy to me. They didn't charge me. I gave this to them for like free practically. Had I known they would be doing this for 15 years, I would have charged them a hell of a lot more. Pissed about that. Breaking Bad. Who was talking about Breaking Bad? Mr. Potato Head, your wholesome preschool character. I destroyed that. I destroyed that. There was an opportunity with Hasbro and a company that I was with wanted to create co-branded product right? We take the Potato Head brand and we throw other brands on top of it and kind of create more awareness, get that awareness of Mr. Potato Head out there to new fans, right? And we did several. We went for some boomers who are into Elvis, right? We did my favorite, right? I love the action figure space, so I definitely made sure that Warner Brothers and DC got a chance to represent. But then at the time, there's this new show called Breaking Bad, and I was totally into it. I mean, I loved it. I watched it. I binge watched it. I watched it religiously. And I pitched it. I said, it's a popular thing, and we can go after an older target. Maybe we do Breaking Bad. Didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Someone much higher pay grade than I liked it. One day I get an email and they say, Art, design me Heisenberg. It's the one and only time that Mr. Potato Head has been a drug dealer. Very proud of that. It sits on my shelf. You'll never see that again. Sonic. Now we're recent. Actually, Jorge, you probably worked on some of this stuff now. Might have, yeah. Sonic. Love retro Sonic. Grew up playing video games. So it was an honor for me. Huge privilege to get to work on Sega and Sonic. At the time, a different company was doing the line, and then it got transferred over to another one. So I was taking over. And I didn't want to do the cookie cutter thing, right, what that other company was doing. I wanted to have a year gap where I just did something really kooky. And then we can go into the normal stuff later. And it was one of those moments where I had to go tell, my directors and stuff, just hear me out, right? Let me cook for a minute. We do these spheres. We do these spheres where you can actually roll them on the ground, right? And Sonic always stays upright, right? But that's more like little kid play. We know fans are going to go crazy. The diehard fans are going to go crazy for that little character inside. So we made it so you can unscrew the ball and actually remove the character from the sphere. So now you can display it on your shelf or your desk or however they want to do it. But we don't want it to be a single one-off, right? You always want to get the most out of what your design is. So we decided to add a modular play set that really brings the game to life, right? Iconic moments of the game. This was the Sonic pinball play set. You can reconfigure it along with other sets and then shoot your Sonic spheres right through the loops in different parts of the track. So that was kind of like a fun, like I said, kooky way of doing something that was not done before. And I always love taking characters and changing up their style a little. And then Sega's like, all right, well, what plush can you design for us? And I'm like, well, can I mess with a character a little bit? Can I deform their proportions? And they're like, draw it up, let me see it first. And I wanted to do this, what I call 2.5D. It's not quite three-dimensional. It's not the full Sonic hair. It's not the hair that goes all the way back. It's not quite pillow plush. It has more dimension than that, right? I called it 2.5D, where I'm doing this little hybrid version of the characters, almost a little chibi-esque at the same time. They ended up loving it, and it's still carried on now, just at different scales from when I first started. I think I have, did I bring a sample? Oh yeah, I did bring a sample. This one's special. This one's special because, well, I'll get to that. Oh no, I'll say it now. This was designed by one of my friend back there, Cal State Long Beach designer. We worked on this project together. Super Mario Brothers movie that just came out about a year ago. Again, we were working with the license. The plush over here on that side, I really enjoyed because it was a mixture of materials, right? It wasn't your regular just squishy plush. The head, rotoplastic. The eyes, glass doll eyes. Inside the body was a wire articulated armature. So you can actually now pose this plush and have him stand up on his own. A lot of stuff was going in this one little plush hidden inside there. Very fun play with materials, mechanisms, and scale. But here's the Cal State Long Beach design. I'm sure you guys saw the Mario movie. I hope you guys did. Bowser had his little floating island playset. Floating island fortress. Jorge and I designed this, and you know what? I got a video of it right here. You guys can see all the fun.
To enter the world of the Super Mario Brothers movie with Bowser's Island Castle. Oh no, Bowser's captured Luigi. It's time for Mario to save the day. Bowser's Island Castle is on the move, and the battle is heating up. Yikes, Goombas escaped. Mario, you saved Luigi and the day. Bowser's Island Castle includes playset and exclusive Bowser figure. Other figures sold separately. Expand your Super Mario Brothers movie world with the Donkey Kong stick.
That last one right here, that's all him. That's all him over there. But, again, one of your guys' alum, right there. For the past few years, I was managing, I don't design as much anymore. I kind of lead teams now. So one of the teams I started leading was for a company called Spin Master that Max mentioned, and pretty much like a $100 million brand, which was Batman and DC. And again, I love action figures. It was my jam. It's what I did as a kid. Those are the toys that I love. And with Batman, Batman always has the best gear, the best gadgets, the best everything. These toys that came out during that time period of my career are very different than my other ones. They're all about fun transformation, really cool mechanisms, fun ways for Batman to defeat the villains. This one's our most recent. It just won the 2019 Toy Insider Award. This is a transforming Batmobile. This really cool looking Batmobile that transforms into a like a modular command center.
In the ultimate transforming Batmobile, you can transform the Batmobile to mobile command center. Transformation complete. Nightwing class, Clayface, Batman speeds down the zip line. It's over, Joker. Ultimate transforming Batmobile comes with Batman figure. Other figures sold separately. Batteries done.
Not included. Finish off that sentence. This is where you guys come in. This is the part where you guys are actually going to get something out of it. All that was just vanity for me. If you ever enter the toy industry, right, and your toy is not fun, then really, WTF. All right? If I'm reviewing your portfolio, you send it to me, you're like, Art, I want a job. Show me your portfolio. And I'm looking through it, and I'm thinking WTF the whole time? Not good. Not good at all. And I should probably clarify what WTF means because we don't speak the same language. It's not this. It's where's the fun. It's where's the fun in this toy. Right? Great. Love that it's ergonomic. Awesome. Fits great in the kid's hand. Love that it has neutral colors that aren't offending or offending any gender. Awesome. Love that. But is it fun? What's the play pattern that you created? What's going to excite a kid over that? And I'm telling you, that's the hardest part to figure out. Fun. Fun is the hardest thing to figure out. It's something that you don't actually learn in school. You learn this in school, right? The form, the function, the service, what does it do, right? You want to take a photo of that? Go ahead, go for it, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like the case.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what this actually translates into in my world. Right? Your form is, what's this? Take the photo. Your form is the style, right? Your design language, right? Am I creating something that's chibi? Am I going something for a more anime look? What's that design language, right? What's interesting about it? Aesthetically, what's interesting about it? Function. Function to me is feature and performance, right? It's that car that opens up and transforms, right? It's that Nerf gun that you just shot your friend with completely across the way. How far can it shoot? Does that perform really well? Form and function are so important. But without fun, you don't have a toy. Fun is king in my world. I don't care if you guys can't draw. If I'm looking at portfolio and your drawings are shit, that's fine. I got plenty of designers who are really good at drawing. If all you're good at is doing 3D models, I can use that too. But what I'm always looking for in every portfolio is, can you guys grasp fun? If you're not taught what fun is, then you kind of just have to go with whatever was in your childhood, right? That inner child, reconnect with that. Hopefully you all had a great childhood, but if you didn't, you're now adults, make a better adulthood. You might want to get a photo of this one. This is something that I do as a personal, when I'm kind of stuck. I have like a brain freeze, not a brain freeze, a brain fart, whatever, artist block, whatever you want to call it, is I start using buzzwords, right? Jump and skip, right? Just doing some mashups, sparkles, sounds, 2-in-1, right? And then I start matching them up. What if I have something that stretches and pops, glows, activates, sounds? What does that mean? What could it be? Like, what is that? Is it a cool zombie toy? Like you can stretch them out and pop their joints off? And depending on that level of stretch, maybe you activate lights and sounds? Could be something there. Draw it up. Buzzwords, creating play patterns, all that's important. And then come from anywhere. Come from anywhere. Me jumping in that cardboard box and wanting to do something with that. Why not add wheels to it? Turn it into something. So when I'm designing, I go back to my childhood, back in the 1900s, 1980s and 1990s. Personally, I think it's the best time to ever grow up. Here's why. That's me. That's a 9-year-old me. And I loved Saturday morning cartoons. Like, there was no streaming network, so you had to watch them when they aired. And that was me at 6 a.m. to watch all the cartoons. Everything from Rainbow Bright down to the last Voltron show. I watched them all. All of these. That was my entire morning. I loved cartoons. In the 90s, the cartoons went from Saturday mornings to after school hours, and I had to run home, not to do my homework, but to watch my cartoons. Priorities first. These are just screenshots of various types of commercials that happened in the 80s and 90s. If you recognize a face here, that's Mr. Fast and the Furious right here. That's Vin Diesel. That's actually not even from a commercial. Vin Diesel was one of the actors that we would hire to come in and pitch the products during our Toy Fair trade shows. That's actually how he got his start. So I always joke and pull that one up because I think it's funny. Now, guys, I told you guys earlier that I called in some favors. Right? I asked some friends to do something. The first group didn't do it. Went to the second batch, try and trick them into doing something. I asked them this question. Talking to a bunch of designers. Maybe you tell them a little bit about your process. I was very fortunate to have an amazing comic book illustrator do a quick little video for us. All the toys I grew up with, he's the one that created them. Very old school, back in the day Kenner, but his name is Dion Knuckles.
Hello, my name is Dion Knuckles. I am the design lead and sculpt manager at Spin Master. I was asked by Art to share my process when it comes to designing toys. I'll try to make this as simple as possible. I am a huge nerd, so when it comes to creating toys, and we'll use Batman as an example. I can pull on the comics that Batman has been in, the movies, the animation, and even the toys. We will grab a lot of that. I'll start writing things down. I'll start writing ideas, what that character can be, what it should be. For example, is it a 6-inch figure, a 4-inch figure, a 12-inch figure? Does it have lights and sounds? Does it have any accessories? Does it have anything that's going to make that character or that action figure exciting? And then once I have that down in my notes, I will use that as a checklist and start sketching things. I'll start sketching some of the weapons. I'll start sketching some of the looks. Sometimes as artists, we get into what's known as an artist block. And how I push through that is I will create what's known as silhouettes. And that silhouette basically looks like an outline of Batman, but it's all in black. And then I'll take it into Procreate and or Photoshop and kind of like fade it back a little bit and then draw over top of that. Once I'm finished with that, once I have refined it, I may bring it back into Photoshop and then color it. And then once I've colored it, I will move on to ZBrush, where I'll start to sculpt it. And when I bring it into ZBrush, it gives me an opportunity to kind of create proportions that I probably wouldn't have done in when I'm drawing it. So I would suggest that when you are starting with your own process, figure out what works best for you and then expound on that and then push past it. There are a lot of times when you can't figure it out. The goal is to put something down and push past it. So that's my process, and I hope you got something out of it. And thanks so much.
Thank you, Dion. Dion brought up a great point here, and that was the exploring your designs, right? Doing different iterations of it. That's so key. It goes back to what I mentioned earlier, the design language of what it is. There was a sculpt that he mentioned that when he said we went to 3D, that he would adjust the proportions. That sculpt is one of the ones that he did on my team. And it was not chosen by Warner Brothers, but we did an alternate version. But internally as a team, that was the one that we liked. We thought it felt more heroic. We were all really into the details of it. But sometimes as designers, we're not designing for ourselves. We're designing for a client maybe, or for a certain type of project. And it's our job to figure out what those are. And Dion is a master at just kind of coming up with a lot of ideas, pulling out illustrations, taking them into 3D, and really kind of exploring possible looks, things like that. So really amazing designer. I definitely suggest you find his Instagram. It's like an awesome portfolio. The other designer friend that I asked is Jamie. Jamie and I went to school together. And where I love action figures, and that's my world, her world is fashion dolls and large dolls. I don't care about any of that, but she's really good at it. She's worked with Disney. She's worked with a lot of people. Right now, she's still working on Disney dolls, and her main line right now is called Illy.
Illy, it's a school day fantasy. The new Disney Aurora-inspired locker set. Show your school spirit. Go Dragons! Trendy backpack, and all you need for class. Illy inspired by Aurora locker set. Dolls sold separately only at Target.
Hello, I am Jamie Leon. I'm a toy designer from Japs Pacific, and I work on the Illy doll product line. And one of our design processes we do research on fashions. And since it is Disney based, the Illy line, it's based off of Disney bounding. And if you don't know what Disney bounding is, it is when you are inspired by your favorite character and you dress like your favorite character. So I'm here at Disneyland right now, and I just thought I'd go through one of the stores and just kind of show you how we get our inspiration in our design process. And it's basically real world type items. So we see what's trending right now. There's some new stuff for Monsters Inc. We've got Letterman style. There's a Letterman jacket. We've got university style jerseys. We've got Pizza Planet and a baseball style jersey. All these fashion trends are really important for the dolls because it's real world inspired, and we want kids to buy what they're seeing in the stores and fashions that they think are cool and cool ways to utilize the Disney artwork that don't look like little kids are wearing it. So some of the other things that recently came out are also some Winnie the Pooh stuff. So we also look at things like materials. So we've got lace materials, and that's just how we start designing the doll lines. We've got this really cute Dior sweater, like fuzzy sweater. So those kind of things are what inspire us to design our new doll fashions. And that's a little bit about how we do our Illy dolls. We do fashion dolls and then large 18-inch dolls, and some new items coming soon. So thank you.
Researching, going out there. You see Jamie here was actually at Disneyland doing some research for her work. You got to get out there, right? When you come up with ideas, you got to get out of the classroom. You have to go and just experience life, go find out different things. That is going to make for a much better design in general. And in this case, they're sourcing fashions that are actually at Disneyland, that they can then incorporate them into the dolls that are going to be on the store shelves. Because why? If you have someone who constantly buys a Disney membership, the chances are they're big Disney fans, and then they might have kids who are going to want those Disney dolls as well. And I just want to wrap this up real quick. WTF, we're now speaking the same language. It's not what you think. It's where's the fun, right? Styling and feature is going to equal fun play patterns. And always, always remember, guys, tap into your inner child when you're trying to design those toys or anything for a child. It's going to make that product so much better. And like I said in the very beginning, we're all friends now. If you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to connect with me. I'd love to take a look at some of your work later on. I promise you I will not be critiqued too much. But there it is, your first friend in the toy industry. Thank you. I probably could have done it like 5 years earlier, but there's a moment where I kind of had had to make the decision, do I want to continue to design? Let me put it this way. I didn't feel like I was done designing yet, right? I didn't want to make that jump when I knew deep down inside I still wanted to be on the board. I still want to be doing drawings. I still want to be in the weeds of it, figuring out all those little things. And a few years back wow, I apologize. I thought I put that on silent. Can you make sure on this? Thank you. And then I was never going to become a toy designer. Didn't know that was a thing. All I can do is really draw. So I went to go become an illustrator and did not like it. It just wasn't me. Didn't really like it. I cared less about fonts and all that stuff and graphic design. Can draw some things, but I want to draw the things that I wanted to draw, not what I was being told to draw. Again, like I said, I went to Otis, and at the time they had a brand new program. It wasn't even really being advertised yet because they were still figuring it out. I happened to have a class up on the 7th floor, and I saw these students doing a presentation. And they had renderings, they had sculpt models. They were like, going all out with their presentation, and I was just in awe. I'm like, what is this? I want to do that. And the guy sitting next to me happened to be the chair of that department. And he just saw that I was like in awe of this, like this is amazing. And he's like, so what are you here for? I'm like, I don't know. I was in illustration, but I'm like, I want to do this. And sure enough, he got me out of my major and into that one. So I finished off my years there at Otis studying toy design. And because we were, like I said, there was 3 schools at the time that were really predominant. It's always good for companies, design teams to look for a variety of creatives. And they had actually approached the school, and they interviewed every student there. A lot of the schools come and they do portfolio review. I think there's a portfolio review here coming up soon. Maybe next semester. So it's like one of those days. It's like one of those days, and I really wanted to work at like Mattel and all that, like all the big names, Hasbro and all that. But like I said, I was kind of average, so they didn't choose me. And so then there was just the rest of the smaller companies, and that was one of them. That was one of them. They actually selected other people, and those people didn't go there. They wanted to go to the bigger companies. And I was like, I don't care. I just want experience. Right? I just want experience. And you guys pay? I'll take that. Little did I know that was probably my best experience ever, because those are what we call pitch and wins type of companies, which means you're not guaranteed a brand. You have to win it. So every couple of weeks, because these are kids' meal toys and they came out every few weeks, we were basically going to studios, pitching them our new idea. And that helped me immensely. Like everything I did there, I still use today in my everyday life. Pitching presentations, right? Being comfortable here, speaking to people who don't want to listen to me, going through learning mechanisms, like this simple little plunger, how much fun that is to a 5-year-old kid. Right? All that stuff came from that internship. It really resonated with me. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If opportunity comes, take advantage of it. You never know what you're going to experience.
From the brands you could talk about, what's been some of your favorites to work with?
Fairly Odd Parents, my number one. Love Fairly Odd Parents. Love Tommy. Love Timmy. Love the fairies. Shortly after I worked with the kids' meal toys, my first job in the actual working industry as a professional, right, starting out, was with Nickelodeon, or designing for Nickelodeon brands. I started on a little brand called SpongeBob SquarePants, small brand, right? And I was there as a junior designer. And I quickly became recognized, right, as like a go-getter. And really what it was like I just did everyone's work and they were just throwing it at me. But I got really good at it. I got really good and really fast at doing it. And Nickelodeon came to us and said, hey, we have another show that's coming out. New creator of a show. His name is Butch Hartman. And my director tapped me. He's like, Art, you did such a great job on SpongeBob. Do you want to take a lead on this? And for me, this was opportunity to go to up my level, right? Go from a junior designer to like a senior level designer, right? So it was like a career move for me. So I was like,